In this video, we are comparing the Continental UltraContact UX7 versus the Bridgestone Alenza 001, two of the leading comfort SUV tyres out there in the market. We won't guess, we will test them in wet grip, dry control, noise comfort, and rolling resistance to find out which of these two tyres fits your SUV's daily driving need. Let's find out. Hey guys, have you guys ever experienced a wet braking accident? So here we are at the wet braking track to find out how each tyre performs at different wet braking distances. So this car actually accelerates all the way from 80 all the way down to 0, and we are looking at the braking distance. Bam, here. And we will evaluate different tyres to see how much this distance actually differs.
In wet braking, the Continental immediately creates a decisive safety margin. The UX7 stops in 31.8 meter, while the Bridgestone needs 38.1 meter, a 6.3 meter longer stop for the Alenza 001. That's roughly 1.5 car lengths, translating to a 20% disadvantage in emergency braking. On the wet handling lap, the Continental completes the course in 85.94 seconds, compared to the 90.25 seconds for the Bridgestone. That's a 4.31 second gap, or about 5% slower lap for the Alenza 001. Subjectively, drivers rate the UX7 at 7.5 versus a 6 for the Alenza 001. That's a 1.5 point advantage, reflecting noticeably higher confidence and more predictable grip at the limit.
Guys, have you ever wondered when you are driving in the wet and suddenly when you accelerate and you drive through a puddle, suddenly your cars lose control? This is what we call aquaplaning, and today we are at the aquaplaning track and we're trying to measure how much your slipping speed is. So the car actually goes at top speed, and what we are trying to find out is where your tyre actually stops turning as fast as the other tyre.
In aquaplaning, the Bridgestone counters. The Continental lives at 74.9 km per hour, while the Alenza 001 holds on to 77.9 km per hour, a 3 km per hour advantage, giving Bridgestone a 4% edge in deep water stability.
So, for SUVs, dry braking is all about safety and control. In this dry braking test, the SUV stops from 100 km per hour down to 0, so to measure how different tyres have different stopping distance. So a shorter stopping distance reduces crash risk and makes heavy family vehicle car much more safer.
In dry braking, Continental keeps the lead. The UX7 stops at 34.1 meter, while the Alenza 001 requires 37.9 meter, a 3.8 meter longer braking distance, equivalent to about 11% disadvantage for the Bridgestone. Dry handling is effectively matched. The Bridgestone completes the lap in 52.73 seconds, just 0.05 seconds quicker than the Continental's 52.78 seconds. A difference so small, it translates to no meaningful performance gap. Subjectively, the UX7 scores a 7 versus the 6.91 of the Alenza 001, just a mere 0.1 point each, indicating both tyres deliver a very similar steering feel and balance on dry roads.
Noise being one of the critical elements for SUV users, we are actually testing the interior noise of the tyres to see how well it performs. So how do we do it? We actually use a dummy head. So let's have a look. So this is a dummy head. It has two microphones on its ears, and it's actually measuring the interior noise of the car at two different speeds and two different surfaces. So why is it so important? So noise, it's very annoying for especially Asia customers, and we are actually trying to have a more smoother and more comfortable ride, which is what users are looking for SUV tyres.
When it comes to interior noise, it favors the Continental. The UX7 measures 65.6 decibel, while the Bridgestone registers a 66.5 decibel, a 0.9 decibel difference, giving UX7 a 9% advantage in cabin quietness. In subjective comfort, the Continental holds a small advantage, scoring 7 versus 6.8 of the Bridgestone. The difference is subtle, but it consistently places the UX7 on a more refined, smoother riding side. For rolling resistance, the Continental measures an 8.72 coefficient value versus the 8.36 for Bridgestone. That's a 0.36 unit gap, translating to a 4% efficiency advantage for the Alenza 001. In summary, the Continental UltraContact UX7 is the more safety-focused SUV tyre, delivering clearly stronger wet and dry braking, significant higher wet road confidence, a quieter cabin, and a more refined ride. On the other hand, the Bridgestone Alenza 001 answers back with better straight-line aquaplaning and slightly lower rolling resistance, making it appealing for drivers who prioritize high-speed water stability and efficiency.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.